On this episode of Yellow Jacket Garage, windshield repair. Okay, so I'm going to do this part of it inside where it's nice and cool because I don't have enough room in the shop to bring the truck in here and do it in here. So anyway, and it needs the sun to cure the resin for this little kit here. What I've got is the Permatex windshield repair kit, and the kit number is 16067. That one right there. And just driving down to do some stuff on the 62 this morning. Headed down to the parts store, and they're doing some road construction. Sitting in there in traffic going about 10 miles an hour, and a truck going the other way picked up a rock and threw it in the windshield, and they got a nice little bullseye in there. So we're going to see if we can't fix that and save that windshield. So let's dive into this. Little side note, I was going to do this outside, but it's like almost 1,000,000 degrees out there. It's actually in the mid-90s, and for this windshield kit it needs to be between 55 and 75, and so I brought the truck into the shop, moved some stuff around, made a little bit of room, and so we're going to do it in here, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better of an environment because it was sure hot outside. I'm still sweating from it, and man, yeah. All right, so I was going to go ahead and start on this, but I wanted to do a quick walkthrough of what's in the kit. It's got this syringe with a little clippy-do up on top, and that's so you can get the resin down in there real well. Of course, it's got the resin. It's got this little attachment that sits over the top of that. That's what the syringe goes into, so you can put the solution in there. This is a little gasket that attaches first, and the plastic piece attaches to that. And then we've got the instructions. And so according to the instructions, you have to provide, or they recommend, that you have a push pin. I've got one in here somewhere, and I buried it in all of this stuff. And so the push pin, you're going to go in here and you're going to clean out any of these little glass shards that you can get out of there. And you can see there's little flakes and stuff that are coming out of it. Alright, so here, this canned air, it's about empty, so but that's good. We'll get that cleaned out of there. Okay, it doesn't tell us which side is which, so I'm going to peel off the backing from the white side. And it tells us to make sure that we position it over the hole, which getting it over that hole is a little bit of a task. It's pretty close to the center. I think that's okay. You press it down. You want this tab facing up. It's sort of up, and so I'm okay with that. I'm off to the side, so that makes it a little bit more difficult. And then once that's on there, and you push around it and make sure that it's seated. And then I'm going to go inside and make sure there's no air bubbles under any of this. Okay, there are no air bubbles under there. So now what I'm going to do is peel this other backing off. And I think the reason this tab is pointed up is so that you can clock the little, what you call it, towards it better. And I probably should have made sure that it was clocked that way because it looks like I'm going to need it pointed up that way. Sometimes getting these little sticker things off is not easy. We got that. And so I am going to position that as straight up and down as I can. I'll be able to get this off later, so that's not a big deal. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to break the tip of the resin tube off, I think. And then it says put the resin in the tube using no more than 75%. So how do you see that when it's not there is beyond me, but let's hope that that's good. Can't tell how much is being used. And then you take the injector, stick it in the hole, and you apply the vacuum. So now that you do this, you pull up until the lower notch is outside the barrel, like so. that creates a vacuum. Once that vacuum is on there, we're going to let it sit there for at least 10 minutes. So we'll be back after 10 minutes as it has transpired. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes, and so what it says is you grab this, pull it out, and then reinsert it. And now we're going to push the plunger down. Sure we are. And lock that in place right there. And we're going to let that sit like that for at least 20 minutes. Alright, so now it's time to remove this whole apparatus, which ought to be fun because I had an issue where this seal popped loose. And so now we get to see whether it actually took or what it did. So the instructions say put it in the sides. Nope, and it just popped right up. So peel that off, and then clean this off. Clean off any that drips. And now it says to take a little drop of this, put it in the, this is the stuff that was left over. Then it says to use the razor blade to smooth out any air bubbles that, that might be in there. So we do that. Looks like we got a little bit of a bullseye, but we lost our seal, so I don't know how well it is actually working or is not. But for this part of it, I'm done. I'm gonna back the truck out into the sun. According to the instructions, you set it out in the sun for another 20 minutes, and then we'll do the rest of it out there. Alright, so this is the final step, which is to peel this plastic off, and then we'll come back in, clean that up a little bit, and that is that. It should be all cured up. You can see there's still a little bit of the bullseye and everything in there, but the most important piece of that is that at least it's sealed up, and so that the polymer is in there, and it should keep that from spreading any now, so hopefully. But the issues that I had with the pressure and the pin and all that good stuff, so we'll see. Alright, really pretty easy. Follow the instructions, do your prep work, get it ready to go. Kind of all goes back together. The only thing you have to add that the kit doesn't come with is the push pin and the razor blade. Use a safety razor so you don't cut yourself with it or whatnot. Following the instructions makes it really simple. And yes, you can do it yourself, pretty easy. Maybe save yourself a few bucks. A lot of people nowadays, your insurance will cover stuff like that, but you still have to go there and do it, and schedule it and all that good stuff. So maybe your time is not in a situation where you can do that. But anyway, hey, if you have done this before, put a comment down below. Let me know how it turned out, and you can share that with other people so they know whether they can do it themselves or not. And if you haven't done it and you're thinking about doing it, then go ahead and give it a try, and then let us know how it turned out. Other than that, I think that's about it. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing, like, share, all that good stuff if you so desire. And as always, thanks for watching Yellow Jacket Garage, and we'll see you on down the road.